Hi everybody and welcome. It's me, Dark Ephemera, Dark Arts and Crafts, the queen of the cozy kaiju, and we got some kaiju today. This is one part of a multi-infinite part series about archiving and Godzilla figures. And our primary source for knowledge is going to be this book, The Godzilla Encyclopedia by Shinji Nishikawa. This is a fantastic book. I love it. He's an artist. He drew everybody very carefully. There's this anatomical file at the end of each era. Look at this. This is so great. What if they ever made a figure out of the Millennium? Yeah. Orga. I feel like there was an Orga, but there were different types of Orgas. Meganula, Megalon, Megaguirus. Anyway, this is the book we're going to be using as I continue to catalog my stuff and to go over it one more time. I'm going to go over it each and every time we meet. Basically, I've created a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are a very good basic way of creating a catalog. And you're going to add the things that you think are important. So for us here, we are numbering. We always start with a unique ID number. We're numbering them. I am adding a column for the year that the movie came out, the name of the movie, the name of the kaiju, it's the main name, an image. I take pictures of everything, and these look very tiny here, but you know, when you're in Google Drive, because this is a Google Sheets, then it's going to really work. The brand name, mostly Playmates, a bunch of Bandai that I got from Japan. And notes is always a great column to have. It means everything else. And then location, which I've started a new set of boxes. So, it's a bit messy. Got a lot of handwriting on it. And I'm not sure if I updated a lot of this, but you know, we'll get through. We'll get through. It's mostly about figuring out what you haven't gotten to yet and what you need to get to. So I'm going to go quick. Yeah. So let's start then. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's my floaty cat just doing her thing. So I think, I think I got these last figures here mostly at G-Fest in Chicago. I left the labels on so that I could remember what they are. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So these are figures, and I'm going to do each of them. I'm not going to do them in order, apparently. Let me see. These are from the TV show Singular Point, and I know it's in here. Just opened it up. Planet of the Monsters. Here we go. Singular Point. So in Singular Point, Godzilla mutates. And this one is Amphibia, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So this is not the first one. Aquatilis is the first one. Amphibia is the second one. Second form from Singular Point. This is, I'm sure, I think I have these in my catalog, so let me just real quick find them. See, if only I had the name of the, if only I had the name. These things are all over the place, man. No, no, no. And again, no. It's gotta be here. I have terrestris. I guess I just don't have the others. Darn it. See, this is me not being very good at cataloging. So I have Singular Point, Terracetris, and Ultima in my catalog here. So I'm going to have to need to make a new one. And this one is, these are all Bandai, I think. Yeah, Bandai. Yeah, there it is. Looking for the red square. There it is, Bandai. And I will probably take this tag off. Right now, I'm not. I'm leaving them on. As if I make some kind of diorama, it's gonna go on. So I'm gonna write down. What did I say? Amphibian. Amphibia. Okay, so I have Singular Point. I got to write the year down, and this is Bandai. I'm just gonna put BD. Okay, very sloppy, very messy. It's all right. These are those Bandai figures that are, ooh, kind of hollow. Maybe give them a little squeeze. You can hear the air coming out of them. But solidly built, zero articulation. Definitely a static figure. But that's okay, that's okay. I think sometimes when there's too much articulation, it messes up the flow of what it looks like. They gave up painting the rest of the way. I'm assuming his spines are, they look silver all the way down, but they went from silver to yellowy, and then they gave up. This section here is obviously a molded section on. A lot of these figures can use a little painting touch up. Also, you have these spines here that I'm guessing are more yellow. Yeah, so if this is a kind of yellow color, the yellow color should be repeated all along here and all the way down. Spines are fussy. This is pretty good. Looking at this drawing by the author, sometimes they put a picture, I don't know, it's like a big blob. He's supposed to look like molten lava. Here there's some, in this picture, there's some sort of stripes. Could just be shading. You could give it a little bit of a black wash in some areas and maybe in the crevices to give shadowing and shading in it. Yeah, so that's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad at all. I like Singular Point. Controversial take, maybe, but I could see that everybody was trying to do something different. Japan's always trying to do something slightly different. Look at it in a different way. It had all the hallmarks of a traditional anime, the characters, etc. The Godzilla stuff was very confusing. It took me a while to figure out what was going on. I think I had to watch it a couple of times. Disappointed that Mothra was just a bunch of little moths. And even though I have an inherent hatred of Jet Jaguar, the clunky robot that they had in this was pretty fun. So, no notes. Wow, this is very interesting. It says, with scientific advancements in the world, the monster has become the object of sophisticated intellectual consideration, either as an existence that can be reasoned with, the most advanced scientific knowledge, or as a device for discussing philosophical themes such as civilization, religion, and human existence. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is that they are always trying to think of it different. So Godzilla having multiple forms, in this one the amphibian form. perfectly reasonable. I think I got all of them. Oh, I'm missing one. Okay, I didn't get all of them. Note to self, I didn't get all of them. Here we go. Here's the next one. Though I feel like taking this guy off. Now this is definitely purchased in Japan. If I'm not mistaken, I was in a town called Shiba, where there was a huge shopping mall, and we went there to walk around and spend the day, and inside was a Toys R Us and a whole rack of them, of Godzillas, of figures, all kinds of stuff just hanging there. I'm gonna pull it out, snip it, and then push it in. There we go. And I paid 23, almost 24, I was to say 2,400 yen. And you calculate that by moving the dots 2 times, so $24. But then at that time it was less. So instead of $24, it would have been probably closer to like $18. Which, given my $30 limit for figures, well, pretty good. That's pretty good. So this is Godzilla terrestris. Okay. We have some articulation. Nice. Not a lot. This arm turns a little bit. No jaw. And again, we're getting the silver spines with teeth-colored spikes. And again, the coloring doesn't carry through. I love this copper stripe that they have show here. Kind of bleeds down into the blue. Here the copper continues down along here and here, but not on the figure. Claws are painted. Yeah, not terrible. Bandai, I'm guessing? Yes, Bandai China. Can't read it, but it's right there. And these are those hangers. And again, hollow. And because the legs can move, maybe we can get him to stand. Pretty good. So, did I not have him? Here, I have him and already photographed. So, I'm gonna need to figure out what numbers these are. I'm gonna go from the end of what I already had. I think I was up to 16, but I'll number them. I think I'm up to 16. Nope, 17 is the last number. Always got to make sure about this. So amphibian is 18 and terrestris is 19. Okay. Again, singular point interesting is this idea of noting them. Oh, I remember. I thought I had an Aquatilus. Aquatilus. I thought I had an Aquatilus. I pulled it out of the box. Turned out to be Manda. Good old Manda. So I put it back. I must have an Aquatilus somewhere, but not within handy reach. I thought it would be nice if I did the whole group. And then I completely forgot that Ultima is part of this group as well. So pretty sure I have an Ultima. I do. And he's photographed. But I'll get to him when I physically hold him in my hand. I'm not going to number anybody. It's not really necessary to catalog things together. You might want to, like if you end up getting all these things at once, they might be number 19, 20, 21, and 22. But honestly, in a catalog, that doesn't really matter. You can arrange the columns in a spreadsheet in any way that you want to. You can cluster all of the singular point figures together, you know. But there is a thing in the library world called collocation, where something is physically right next to its brothers and sisters. So on a shelf, this should be right next to this, which should be right next to Ultima and right next to Aquatilis. But not really necessary. This isn't a library. And we can take them out and make scenarios, scenes. These guys are so long, though. Their tails are so long. I feel like it's going to be kind of obnoxious to try to make something out of them. Yeah, it's a nice figure. I don't know if they did anything more elaborate than these Bandai ones, but, you know, the limited amount of articulation just kind of, well, they're statues. You know, that's it. They're statues. They're not going to really engage in any way, so... Okay, there you go. Put this down a little bit so I could show some of these guys on camera. All right. Well, I must have put Manda away because I don't see him. Oh, this was the other one that I got. Yes, I don't know if this guy is in the book, so we'll see. But this is Salung, and with the $30 mark, this means Godzilla G-Fest in Chicago. And this is, or Salunga, and this is also from Singular Point. So let's see. Oh, we have a year. The show came out in 2021. 2021, so I don't have to look it up later. Yep, here we go. So we met a whole bunch of other creatures. We met a souped up versions of everybody from Rodan to Anguirus to Manda, who doesn't look all that much different from the original Manda, to this Salunga. So these are like upgraded. Honestly, who is this? Oh no. Okay, I'll read this in a minute. So, these are updated versions of creatures we've met before. Rodan, Anguirus, Manda, Kamunga, right? Who is Salunga? So I'm going to read what the professor here says. I don't know, sorry. Shinji Nishikawa. With his horns, ears, and green skin covered with round warts, this monster has elements of Gabara. Okay, Gabara, my second least favorite creature, who I know there's a figure of, and that figure will never cross my threshold. But its body shape and movements are reminiscent of an ape. It has the ability to control red dust, and before the appearance of Godzilla, it was considered the main candidate for the red dust monster in the Shiva Consortium. Okay, now they're giving away plot points here. Sorry. It may have been created by imaging King Kong as a Godzilla rival. I guess, but with the bipedal nature of it, it was giving me, I almost wanted to say King Caesar, but totally original, right? Like, where'd this come from? Where did he come from? I mean, we know all of these guys. Who's this? So I don't quite understand that. I feel like it was from something, and he's not telling us. Ew. Okay. So because it's on four legs, all of the leggies are all articulated only at the hip and the shoulder. No jaws. Tail doesn't really move. There's a seam around the waist, but it's not moving. Yep, it's not moving. Let's see, with coloring, not terrible. It was green with brown with, okay, these spikes, the horn and the spikes could have been a little whiter to show up a little bit more. They kind of sprayed them gray colored, but then this greenish gray is so much alike. It's hard to make it distinguish from it. Yeah. Other than that, it's not terrible. This bright blue and the red, like a... Oh yeah, right here, this bit of the face looks a bit like a mandrill. So I don't see any red popping. You got some pink in the eyes and this metallic blue. Very good. Metallic blue there. So this is pretty good. I think it's pretty good as far as figures go. Of course, Bandai, that means it's just hollow. And there's not much else going on here with this. Let's see. Do I have Salunga listed? And also tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Is it Salunga? 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 Nope, I don't see him. Darn it, darn it, darn it. But this is what's doing this is what doing inventorying is. And I promise by the next video I hope to I hope to. That doesn't sound right. But I'm hoping to get that updated so that I'm not saying anything else. Sometimes the painting is done separately, so it isn't seamless. And it does seem like somebody did gray down the middle and it stopped right there, so there's no gray down here, but that's kind of hard to see. Well, I can't wait to get someone's going to be number 20, and he's Bandai. Singular Point 2021. Very likely, if I wanted to put there, likely purchased at G-Fest. Yeah. I had to do a lot of research when I go. Next time I go, I'm going to do way more research because I was blown away by the number of creatures, the number of figures that I could purchase there. So I'm just absolutely hyped about it. So awesome. So there you go. I know I have more. I know I have Ultima, and I thought I had Aquilinus. I don't see it in my list, and it wasn't immediately evident. Okay. Looking in my box, I'm going to give you a non-Godzilla surprise. Here we go. I know when I saw this in the Japanese Toys R Us in a Shiba Super Bowl, I was so stunned. I couldn't put it in my shopping cart fast enough. Daimajin. Dun, 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 dun. I couldn't believe it. Of course, at that point, I didn't realize that they had actually made a modern TV show, but this is clearly shots from the original movies, the trilogy of movies, which I think were kind of made one right after the other. Love this story. Love the size of the creature. I love that a person, he can hold a person in his hand like a doll. Like, I mean, I don't know how big the person is, but maybe they're like this big, right? He can hold them in their hands like a doll. It was like this. Rah! And then he could smash them to the ground. There was something very personal about that. The stone face going to angry face. Like, if you were going to make a deluxe version of this, you're going to have the two faces that he had. He had the stone face, then he would go whoosh, and then he had his angry face. Basically, if you're not familiar with it, I will show you how it's spelled. Daimajin. Oh, come on. For all that is holy, please focus. There we go. Daimajin. Look for that movie, and there was originally in the 1960s 3 of them. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Each of them an individual story. Each of them basically a retelling of the previous story. A little difficult to follow. It wasn't like it was a sequel. It just almost like it was a retelling of the previous story. Basically, there's a village. There's a statue up in the mountains. And it's this god that they're like, if we don't appease it and pray to him and things, he'll get mad and there'll be a volcano or just a rock slide. I'm not entirely sure. But because he's nice to us, we have a prosperous town. But then something terrible happens to the town, and this is always the kicker. Something terrible happens to the town, but he doesn't wake up at that point. He takes like another couple of decades before something else happens to finally wake up and stomp his way through the town, killing everyone because he clearly couldn't discriminate who were the good townspeople from who were the evil people. Like, as far as gods to worship go, you're better off with Cthulhu, quite frankly. He just didn't have a clue as to what was going on. He just stomped on everybody. And then, a woman would cry and her tears would turn him back into a stone thing. And because he was always mid-stomp, the stone would just collapse and shatter into pieces. Whoo! And then in the next movie, the statue was there again. And you'd be like, I'm sorry, did they rebuild the statue? Or it's just this different movie? But absolutely blown away to see this. This is Bandai, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So again, the sort of hollow body, articulation in the arms only, not even turning the head. I can't do anything to the legs. Weird, chunky, wide, hippie thing here going on. But I love these movies. I love the size of the kaiju. Like, obviously Godzilla keeps getting bigger and bigger, which makes him more and more distant from humanity. And I find that to be difficult. You want, and Kong is gigantic too. He's not even, in the original King Kong in 1933, he could hold Fay Wray in his hand. Again, like this. Now, you can't. He's gigantic, really, really big. But that's just a great, the size differential, I like to think that there's, that they could lean into some of the more medium-sized kaiju in this world. And I'm talking primarily of the American stuff, legendary. In Japan, they're just reimagining Godzilla over and over again, which is fine. Because every time they do it, it gets better and better. So, legendary, the Americans, are like, well, we want to bring in some of the Japanese things, the old school Japanese things, but they're expensive because they're licensed. So we're going to invent things ourselves. Well, invent some medium-sized kaiju, like the buffalo in Kong Skull Island. So the people are walking around, they see this gigantic buffalo, and then Kong comes along, and the buffalo is a tiny toy. And you're like, oh my gosh, there are medium size. I'm calling them medium size. They're still gigantic. So I'd like to see this guy to be gigantic, where he's holding a person, holding a person in his hand like this. So that's just the. Let me see. Where are we at? All right. I don't think Mr. Daimogen was given a proper cataloging. I don't think I did anything when since coming back. Also, probably didn't do it because didn't think he was Godzilla enough. But I'm including Godzilla in all things. And this is Bandai. So I know there's not a lot of other kaiju things. I had some kaiju number 8 figures. I got this Daimogen. You're not going to see Gamera, sorry. You're never going to see Jet Jaguar. You're never going to see any of Ultraman's of many, many villains. Yeah, so that's why it was originally just a Godzilla collection. But, Daimogen, gosh, he's in there. He's in there. Honorary. Okay. Oh, we got We got 4. That's pretty good. Let me see, do I have one more? Oh, yes. Yes. One more, another slightly off track one. Okay, we gotta get the book back. Monster X. Definitely got this in no, he's not here either. Boy, I did nothing, didn't I? 100% remember where I got this from. G-Fest, Godzilla Fest in Japan. Blew my mind because, at this point I was like, man, they're making figures out of everything, and I had no idea. This creature definitely reminds me of Kaiju number 8, this kind of bony exterior, clearly a guy in a suit, more than anybody. Oh, and he's going to be in the book. So let's get out the Godzilla Encyclopedia by Shinji Nishikawa and find our Monster X. Quick out there, name the movie. Was it? No, it was. Wait. Was it before that? Was it? No. 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 100% no. Orca. Garrus. So cute. So very cute. Now this is all the Kiryu stuff. Kiryu. Okay. Oh. Is this? Here we go. Final Wars. Okay. Final Wars. So, alright. Let's go see how he looks compared. I'm going to write Final Wars here. He's number 22. Final Wars. And he's a Bandai figure. Bandai. Okay. Alright. So, head resembles white bone, said to be the image of an exoskeleton. Yeah, it's kind of like bony exterior. Kind of cool. A face that looks as if it's split in half on both shoulders. A face split in half. Number of fingers is 5, the same as humans. Yeah, this is very human. Proportion-wise, the feet, the toes, etc. The bones on the outside of the muscles. What? Here you could see some bone structure that was not painted white on the tail. But you can see that it comes out here. So again, some missing white. What is this big old chunk of thing in the back? My goodness. Okay. Monster X. See, the tail apparently, thin tail with a forked tip, strikes its opponents with the whip. So it's got a dual tail. This one, it's not very good, and we've lost all of the extra white. There's like all this white here, but this figure has it all gone. Oh, the tail moves in a rotation. Very good. No other articulation. Oh, the arms. Okay. Not the head. Arms at the shoulder. No other place. Tail in a strange corkscrew rotation. So, like, this is when he's happy, and this is when he's upset. Happy. Upset. And crank it to, no, okay. Very powerful. Running and jumping abilities are on par with Godzilla. White bony parts are attached to the black muscular body. Great! Monster X is the only new monster among the many revival monsters in Godzilla Final Wars. Trivia! Interesting. I like that. That's a very good point. Technically, I guess he's new. Spoiler alert, if for some reason you've not seen Godzilla Final Wars and you're watching a Godzilla figure channel, but he's technically King Ghidorah or Kaiser Ghidorah. It's Kaiser Ghidorah. He turns into him. So here's the 3 heads. So it's weird that he evolves from being a humanoid into, oh, what's going on here? I forgot he had 4 legs and a man. It's like 4 legs, wings, and 3 heads, but no arms. He's so upset at that. But this is that, like, 2 people working this figure, like a Chinese horse. Something like that. Destroyed Thunder. A beam fired simultaneously from his 4 red eyes, just as powerful as Godzilla's radiant heat eyes. So he really doesn't have 3 heads. He's got 1 and 2 halves. But this half becomes a whole head when he becomes Kaiser Ghidorah. All right. And the author says, Godzilla in this film is depicted as an overwhelmingly powerful monster that no other kaiju can match. Monster X, therefore, whose power surpasses even Godzilla, comes off as a major player, including the way it plays in the film. Oh, man. Yeah. So when I saw this on the shelf at G-Fest, again, run, don't walk to get it. Most of the figures there were very well priced, and this one doesn't have a price on the figure itself, but it would have been like $25, $30. I made a maybe $35 because I think I was thinking about it. I don't know. Awesome, a very favorite. Again, but these figures, I don't know, like, where's the slightly nicer, like, Playmates is a cheap $10 thing you can get at Walmart. But there's articulation. Some of them even make noise. Like, well, these guys. I guess he can stand at some point. I doubt if he could stand. I'm probably going to have to make his tail like this in order for him to, yeah, there you go. In order for him to stand. My goodness. Monster X. An absolute peach of a find. I'm so happy when I found this one. So let's let us reiterate what we looked at today. We got 3 figures from Singular Point, 2 versions of a Godzilla. Oh, sorry about that, my wires. Terracetras and Amphibia. Right. And then we've got Monster X and Salunga from Singular Point. And Daimajin. Love these movies. I rewatch them every now and then. Sometimes the plots are like, what the heck? But I still like watching them, and I still just love this. I found out that there is actually somebody in the past decade or so made a television show featuring a Daimajin character. I saw clips. He's clearly way bigger than the original Daimajin. He's more kaiju size, stepping on buildings kind of thing, but yeah, cool nonetheless. Okay, so these are the figures for today. They're all pretty, you know, I was putting the other figures, like streamlining them, because there's very little articulation. It's not much streamlining you can do. Maybe Salunga here can have his legs down a bit. And of course, I'm not going to leave arms up like this. They're all going to be put down. This is for storage purposes. And then I may write the number on the bottom, if I can, in a tiny print somewhere on the foot, so that I have that kind of cross-reference. I haven't been doing that regularly, so, but these are very distinctive characters, very distinctive figures. I don't think I'm ever going to confuse the Mechagodzilla Kiryu with Batra. so maybe not, I don't know. Alright, that's it for today. I know it's relatively short, but that's it. I've been doing some very long, hour-long videos, and I think I wanted to keep it to like 5 figures so that we could look at them all very carefully. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you saw something that you might want to pick up someday. If you ever go to G-Fest in Chicago, say hi. I'll be dressed as Mothra. I'm not going this year though, 2025. Sorry, I'm so bummed. It is actually happening. I'm filming this in the beginning of July, so it's technically happening pretty soon. But yeah, so I'm not going to be there. But if you're there, great. Go to the dealer room. You're going to find all this stuff and more. Have a budget in mind. Don't go crazy. Don't spend all your money. And remember, you know, you're going to have to fit this stuff all in your suitcase. Those were all notes for myself, by the way, because those are things I completely forgot to do. At any rate, this is Dark Ephemera, Dark Arts and Crafts, the cozy Kaijun queen herself, saying thank you for watching me look at my collection. Thank you for learning a little bit about inventorying and how to collect things and how to create an inventory mostly. Anyway, thank you so much. Happy Halloween, everybody. Bye-bye.